to record. Tonight's call has been and always has been a very requested topic in ZYIA. And tonight's topic is the balance. So specifically, the title was between life, ZYIA, and a full-time job, because a lot of people are juggling a lot of shit right now. There's just a lot going on. So how do you find that balance so you can avoid burnout and that you can go to ZYIA and be present and enjoy it? And then you can go to work and be present and enjoy it. And then when you're with your family or your spouse or your significant other, whoever, you can enjoy where you're at and let the other things go to really be living where your feet are. That's one of my favorite quotes. Ellie, I think, actually taught me that. It's one of my favorite things, and I've lived by it for about a year now, and it's been so impactful in my business and in my journey, and I feel a lot more balanced. But I am not speaking on this because my full-time job is ZYIA. I am not juggling an additional full-time job. So I thought, well, golly, who could I have speak on this topic who's really just nailing it? Like, who's crushing it? And without a second thought in my mind, I was like, I need to reach out to Jessie. I reached out actually to one of Jessie's, her sponsor, and said, hey, can we ask Jessie to do this? Because I think Jessie is really the most perfect role model of maybe not every day, like feeling like you have 100% balance, but you have an approach that you've implemented, Jessie, that I've seen since you started this business that I've just had the utmost respect for. And I think I want other people to see it and know it and feel it so that maybe they can take away one or two things tonight and apply it to their own balance that they're trying to find. So I just want to give you guys some quick background on Jessie. In 2020, I just ran 2020 numbers. And I'm not saying this for people to be like, whoa, that's not me, and become tone deaf to some of this, because it's very incredible stuff that Jessie's done. I want you just to know, if Jessie's done this, I sure as heck can do this, okay? So in 2020, her average sales per month were around $7,100. She recruited 30 people in the year of 2020. So 30 new reps, just over $7,100 in PV per month, and she is currently sitting at ZYIA Executive. I think you guys just had your best month ever just this past January. Meanwhile, being a super busy mom, very present as a parent because of her specific schedule, which you can touch on if you want, kind of what the setup is, and also being a physician assistant. Working 40 plus hours a week. So there's no room to be like, well, she doesn't have this going on, or this is going on in my life and not hers. She's pretty much got the gamut of things. So without further ado, I don't want to take a lot of time because Jessie is the one who I want to have pour into you guys tonight and hopefully fill you up. If you have questions, go ahead and put them in the comments and I can try to reach out and make sure we get them all touched on tonight. But Jessie, hopefully I got it all right. Take it away.
Awesome. So thank you. Oh yeah. Thank you so much for having me. This is something that, like Leah said, I have had to do from day one because my life has always been busy. So like Leah said, I work full-time as a PA. I actually work in urogynecology. So it's a really busy subspecialty. We do a lot of surgeries. And so that is super, super busy in and of itself. I'm a mom of 2 kids. So I have a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old. My husband works as a firefighter, so he often will leave for 24 hours a day. And so I have to also figure out how to keep 2 children alive and juggle all of the things. And so I'm going to show you a little bit about how I do that and how I make it manageable and how I still make it fun and something that I enjoy. So first of all, I just want to talk about the fact that we all have the same 24 hours in a day, but it's all about how we manage to use that time. Nobody has more time than others. And we, at the end of the day, are going to do what's important to us. So first and foremost, buckle down and figure out if this is a priority for you or what is a priority for you, and then categorize those things and that's kind of what I do, is I categorize those things like I need to do this, 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 and this, and anything else is going to be bonus. Like every time he's gone for 24 hours a day, I think to myself, okay, I have to keep 2 kids alive today, and anything else is going to be bonus, just to kind of break it down and simplify some things. I don't mean this to be cruel, but, you know, sometimes people will say like, oh, I just can't do this, or I don't have the time to do this. But honestly, when we're looking at our timeline, we will do what's important to us. So whether it's watching TV or it's growing our business, or even, spending time with our family, that's important to us. So we will still do those things that are important to us. And I'm going to just show you kind of how to break that down and what it looks like for me. So first of all, right out of the bat, defining your purpose is so important. So, put it in the comments here so that we can kind of see, what is everyone even doing this for? When I first started ZYIA, my purpose was the fact that I had a baby, Abigail, and I wanted to grow our family, and the cost of daycare was astronomical. Not to mention, with PA school came $200,000 of student loan debt. So people are looking at me like, wow, this girl makes 6 figures from her career. Like, why would she want to do ZYIA? But what people didn't see was this burden of debt that literally is like suffocating my life. And so I had to define my purpose. Your purpose is what's going to pull you out of bed, what is going to motivate you even when you don't feel motivated. You're going to do all of the things even when you don't feel like you have that discipline there. And my purpose is one that's constantly evolving. So like I said, I remember one day sitting down with Clint thinking, I'm ready for another baby in our family, and looking at the cost of daycare and being blown away. And so I remember when Candace presented this opportunity to me, I told her I need to cover the cost of daycare for one. What does that look like? She spelled it out for me. And right from the get-go, I was able to start hitting that. And then I started evolving. Okay, now let's cover daycare for 2. And then once that's hit, all right, now we're going here. Now we're going here. And so it's constantly growing, and my purpose is constantly evolving. And honestly, when I look at my 2 kids and I think about the goals and the dreams of what I want for our family and what I want our future family to look like, that is inspiring. And that's what keeps me going every single day. Second thing is considering your non-negotiables. So these are going to be the things that help you reach your purpose, help you reach your goals, help you get there. What are those non-negotiable things that you can do every single day? So I'm going to show you actually what my planner looks like. I did a little mini training. I went live in the Grow and Celebrate group and I actually showed you this very same planner before. But there are certain things that I do in my business, and I will not go to bed if I do not have these done every single day. And they're not huge things. Every single day I am posting on Instagram, my Facebook, and in my stories, because I know that I have to continue to grow my market and reach more people and be more relatable. And so I know every single day I have to do those things. And I don't necessarily have to show a ZYIA outfit. I can do whatever. I can share my meal prep, show the kids being crazy. It can be anything, an inspirational quote, but I always want to still give people a reason to come check out my page, and especially my VIP group. Non-negotiables would be posting in my parties, obviously. Going live 3 times a week, and then 5 reach outs every single day. And so then I write down the names of the people. Like today I reached out to 7 because of the promotion we have going on. I just couldn't stop this morning. But every single day I talk to at least 5 people. And I know that those things, by doing those things, it's going to help my business. And it's not overwhelming to think like, oh, how, I just have to talk to 5 people today. And those 5 people can be, hey, I see your order got delivered. What did you think of it? How did it fit? It can be, I'm so glad you shared your review in my group. Have you ever considered hosting a party? It can be, oh my gosh, you've spent so much money on all of these clothes. Have you ever considered becoming a rep and sharing ZYIA like I do? It does not have to be like super weird, awkward conversations. It doesn't have to be the, hey girl, copy and paste message to everybody. I don't recommend, just be your authentic self. And then other times it's just honestly checking in with people that you see in your group that maybe they haven't been active, or maybe you haven't been seeing them, and just getting to know them. I just hit 700 people in my VIP group, and I don't know them all personally. And so sometimes it's reaching out and just saying like, hey, I'm so glad you joined my group. Is there anything I can help you with? And really just getting to know them on a more personal level. In addition to those non-negotiables, I create goals every single month. Since I started ZYIA, I remember watching a training and they talked about the importance of the 3x4. And many of the promotions that ZYIA runs, they make that kind of that forefront goal, like try to hit the 3x4. And if you can just do these things, you will set yourself up for success. And even on the months, like you heard Leah when she was talking about my statistics, I didn't necessarily enroll 3 people every single month. I did try, I did hit that $2,500 personal volume every month. And that's just because that's always a goal of mine. Minimum, hit that 2,500, enroll 3 reps if I can, close out 4 parties. And I honestly, truly believe that that's what's helped me with the success of my business. The truth is, you are 42% more likely to achieve your goals if you simply write them down. Which is so crazy to me. So every single month, every single day, I'm writing these goals down. Like my goal is to hit the 3x4. If you have Mexico on your mind, put it in the comments. Put whatever your goals are in the comments here. Let me know what you guys are working towards. If it's a specific rank, if it's a specific dollar amount a month that you're working towards, put your goals in the comments, get them out in the universe, because you are 42% more likely to achieve them if you throw them out there. Yes, Mexico and senior rep, that's happening for Kayla. So, so excited to see some of these numbers out there. I personally not only write them in my planner, I tell my husband, like, hey, this is what I'm going to do this month. And sometimes he's like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. Other times he's just like, oh, that's awesome. I also have accountability partners. And so like Greg is one of my accountability partners. I know you guys have seen him. I constantly am in communications with them, just saying like, hey, I'm going to hit ZYIA, double ZYIA executive by this day, or I'm going to do this by this day. And darn it, I'm going to get it done. So have an accountability partner. They don't have to be your upline. They don't even have to be on your team. Like Greg is not, I mean, I guess he kind of is on our team, our big team, but he's just a person that I share this business with, and we constantly talk about this business with. Amy on my team, Candace, Leah. I'm always telling these people my goals because I feel like it helps me reach those goals. And it doesn't take a lot of time in terms of being busy to say like, hey, this is what my goal is for this month. It literally takes like 3 seconds. So those little tiny things are what's going to help you. So third would be, consider your life as a plate. So we all have a plate, and we can all only put so many things on our plate. And so if you think about it, like being a mom and doing all the mom things is like a serving of mashed potatoes, and your full-time job is going to be a serving of something, and ZYIA is going to be a serving of something. And then you have to think like cleaning and errands and like, it is so crazy the amount of things we have to do every single day. And so I one day sat down and I thought, like, what are the things that only I can do and I can't have anybody else do? Like, when it comes to my business, only I can do certain things. When it comes to being a mom, only I can do certain things. When it comes to being a wife, only I can do certain things. But there's things that I can take off my plate to make more time for other things. And so, for instance, when it comes to parties, so when I first started, I was really frugal. I was not going to pay for Post My Party. I was not going to do any of those other apps that would help me post, because I wanted to have full control of everything. But now that I'm so busy, and my goal is always at least 4 parties a month, I use Post My Party. I do update the templates, but it takes like 3 seconds. I'll do it like in the bathtub, or when every night I'm just doing something really fast, or when the kids are taking a bath, I'll go look at my post for the next day, customize it towards that person, and get it out there, and bam, it's done. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to copy and paste and schedule, because I just don't have that time. So that is one thing. And when I wasn't as busy, when I only had 1 child, I would just do the copy, paste, and schedule my posts, but now it's just too chaotic. Another thing I can take off my plate is cleaning. So hiring someone to clean my house. I could not have done this prior to this opportunity. What is going on? 1 second. Sorry, I think I was like a call or something. Anyhow, so cleaning my house, something I couldn't have done prior to ZYIA, but something that I can do now to help buy more time. I don't enjoy cleaning my house, and I'm not going to miss cleaning this house, but it's something that will buy me more time to do things that I need to do. In that plate analogy also is spending time with my family. So I know only I can bond with my children in that motherly role. Nobody else can take that time. And that is something that is a priority and is important. So it's not 24/7 ZYIA for me. I've learned, and that's what number 4 is, I've learned to get organized. I've learned to create healthy boundaries. Leah actually had to share this with me pretty early on as I started becoming more successful. I couldn't separate and put things into boxes. I was just like, oh, I'm hanging out with Abigail, but I have an inbox of messages, and how do I go about figuring out like who I respond to now and what can wait and what can't wait. And it was when I figured out how to create healthy boundaries. So I have a set amount of time that I literally put my phone down, and it's going to be family time. And I don't, and part of the reason is because, you know, my husband brought it up to me that I would be sitting in my phone and answering messages as my daughter's sitting there, and that wasn't okay either. Like, I love ZYIA, I love this opportunity, but I also needed to be a mom. And so I figured out that set time that's specifically for my family, focusing on them. And I realized that ZYIA can wait. People are never gonna, you know, be mad at me if it takes me a little bit to respond. And even now that I'm back to work, if work is chaotic, like lately I've been the only provider because our surgeon's been out. So I'm taking all the patients right now, taking the call. Like, that was actually work calling me just a few seconds ago. So I am the only person handling it all right now. And I know that if I can't get to an answer, you know, or get to a message, people are going to be okay. They will. And they still order later, and they're not going to be mad at me. And so when I figured that out, it was like a huge burden lift off my chest. Like, ZYIA shouldn't stress you guys out. It should be fun. It should be supplemental. And I remember Greg telling me one time, like, reminding me of this, it is supposed to be fun. And if it's not, you need to like take a step back, figure it all out, and then go back into it. And so I was really, really thankful for that. With this whole getting organized, think of Power Pocket. So guys, I, again, work 40 hours a week. I am a mom and doing all these things. I don't have time to sit down for 3 hours and crack out ZYIA and talk to all of these people. And so what I do is I look at my day and I pick these little pockets where in 15 minutes here, 5 minutes there. That is how I built my business. I call them Power Pockets. And I have this list that I go off of. So, okay, I have 5 minutes, bam, let's do this. Oh, a patient's late, I have 15 minutes, let's do this. So I constantly have these things that I can do in these little pockets of time that I'm then given. A Power Pocket for me is in the morning. If I get to work early, I will do them. Other times I wake up at the butt crack of dawn, especially now with an infant. So I'll have an early morning Power Pocket. Lunchtime is another Power Pocket for me. After work, it's all Abigail and Tucker time until they go to bed. And then after 7:30, I have a little bit of time. That's the time I hang out with Clint, and the time, you know, I can usually get in probably 30 minutes minimum. And schedule posts for the next day and adjust templates and things like that. So that is what my life looks like in terms of conquering these things. But I will tell you, if you're not organized and you don't have a list of what you need to do for your business, and you don't have that list of non-negotiable things, when it comes to, okay, I have 15 minutes, you kind of scramble. Like, what do I do? What do I do? In these 15 minutes of time. And when you are organized and you're like, okay, bam, checked off my list. Okay, next thing, bam, checked off my list. The other thing is, okay, so today we had this incentive, or this anniversary promotion, which how crazy was that? It was awesome that they did this today. One thing that I did, was, so I had to think, because today in clinic it was crazy. And so I had to think, like, do I personally send out messages to people who've ordered bras and tank tops and ask them if they want more? Do I go live in my group and hope that more people see it? Or if I only have this 5 minute of power pocket time, what am I going to do with it? And so I took that time to see who I've previously invited to Discover events, and I talked to them about the rep kit that has that promotion today for the extra $25 gift card. That's how I utilized my time. When it comes to my day-to-day routine, there are days that I can't hop on a training because I haven't done the things that are non-negotiable. I don't have the time. So it's either, do I reach out to 5 people or do I watch this training? Guys, I'm going to reach out to the 5 people because that is what's going to bring my business to the next level, not tuning into a training that I can then listen to a recording later. A lot of times I'm catching the recording on a commute when I have to drive downtown Houston. That's when I'm catching the weekly recordings of things that I've missed. So and just another important thing. Number 5 would be about dreaming big and having personal belief. So the truth is, if you look at your day, if you look at your goals and you're like, oh, this is impossible, it's going to be impossible. Like, you have to have the mindset going in, like, you can do this, you will do this, and you'll figure out a way to make it work. Successful people, successful reps, they're not the people who never struggled, guys. They've struggled a lot. Trust me on that. They just are the people that never gave up. They are continuously figuring it out. So they fail, they do something else, and they fail again, and then they try it a different way. And same is true with how parties are run and how recruiting goes. And we all kind of have our seasons when it comes to ZYIA. We're not on 24/7. Trust me, we all go through these phases where we struggle. But it's all about, that dreaming, dreaming big and having that personal belief. I tell my team this quite often, that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, but expecting to get different results out of it. And so if you are struggling to book parties, if you're struggling to recruit, if you're struggling to do all of these things in your business, but you're not changing what you've been doing, whether it be getting more organized or, I don't know, changing the templates of your party or doing something, the reality is the business isn't going to change for you. It doesn't just like one day change. You have to change how you're approaching it. So dream big. Every single day I am thinking of my highest, most grandest self, and I'm trying to show up for that person. So I'm not there yet, obviously, because it's a constant thing that I'm working towards. But every day I'm one step closer to that person, one step closer to the goals that I have. And that's another thing that drives me forward when I'm on days I'm exhausted. It's one thing that helps me get closer to that goal. We're all in charge of our futures here, in our futures in ZYIA, our futures in our house. So, I mean, nobody else is going to get you there except for yourself. And again, when I just think about what I want for my family, like this mama lion, I swear, comes out, and it's just like, all right, I'm going after this. Like, if I could go into Hulk mode, I feel like that's what I do when I'm trying to get a better life for my family. And it's not that we don't have a good life, but I want to be like, hey, Dr. Samuels, guess what? I'm taking my kids to Disney tomorrow, so I guess I'll see you in a week. I would love to be able to do that, but unfortunately right now I can't. So that's just something that I really, really want for my family. I was always told that if your dreams don't scare you, that they're probably not big enough. Every single day in this business, I'm uncomfortable with something. I'm constantly being challenged and pulled and pushed in different directions. And like, I swear, Amy and Candace, they both bring out the absolute best in me, but it scares the living daylights out of me, because they'll be like, I'm going to do this month. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to try to sell 10,000. Like, it's just crazy what these people will have me, what they'll challenge me to do, but it's so cool to have that community here. So last year, this is going to be the last kind of segment here, but last year they launched the Jamaica incentive. And I remember talking to both Candace and Amy and saying, all right, I'm going to Jamaica. I'm going to do this thing. And for 90 days, I went balls to the walls. I don't even know if you can say that on a team training, but I did. I gave it my all for 90 days. And what happened is, after those 90 days, In April, I hit executive. And that was the biggest turning point in my business after I literally dedicated 90 days to doing just this, to staying organized, to working in power pockets, to doing all of these things, even though my life is chaotic. 90 days. This year, I didn't earn Jamaica, but I mean, what I did earn was amazing growth in terms of my business. This year, January came up, Mexico was announced, told the girls again, all right, I'm doing this thing. In January alone, I earned 28 points towards Mexico. And it's not because, it didn't just happen. I literally, like, if you look on the front page of my planner, I have the Mexico tracker and what I'm trying to do every single day to get there. All of these non-negotiables so that I can get there. That 3x4 so that I can get there. All of these things are constantly in my face. Candace, Amy, and myself, we are all busy moms. We all have 2 children. All of us locked in that 3x4 last month because we are so determined. And we all kind of operate in this way in terms of utilizing power pockets and doing the things that are going to be those income driving activities first and saving the other things for later. So just imagine what you could do in terms of your business if you honestly poured in all of your efforts. Like, you truly poured in all of your efforts for 90 days. Just think about the growth that can happen for 90 days. That's all I got.
I feel like I just want to hang up and go do things. I just want to go do stuff. And you can totally say balls to the walls on these team calls. So do you guys have questions? If you do, unmute yourself. But one thing that a couple things that struck me, you have very much like you don't have a lot of room for like BS really in your life. You're kind of like, this is what it is, and I'm just going to move forward and deal with it. So one question would be, well, first, accountability partners. You touched on, you've got some accountability partners, right? So you mentioned Amy and Candace, and they're on either side of you in this, in line. And I think that's really cool because oftentimes, like, we see people like you who are just forging and you're doing this stuff, but it's hard to do alone. So if you guys don't have somebody like that, reach out to somebody and be like, hey, our situations kind of seem similar. What are you doing to make it work? And you'll have that kind of that bond. And I think for me, like, that's what kept me in this business, because although I'm kind of wired like Jessie, like there wasn't a lot of space for me to really think too much. I just had to act in the beginning. But that doesn't mean that you don't have moments where you like cry in the shower. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's important to, like, how do you address that, Jessie? Like, because that happens. I mean, you still, you still have that, right?
Absolutely. So I still have my moments, and I'll even tell Clint, like, I'll have my days where I feel completely overwhelmed and I just, like, I don't even know which direction to go. Especially when I feel like it's all coming at me from all different angles. And I also, like, I remember one day in particular where I told Candace, like, I'm having a really bad day right now. And I don't do that so that I'm like treating her like a dumpster and just pouring crap into her. I just needed a friend at that time. And she was like, Jessie, like, I know you feel like you're having a bad day, but look at what you did today. Like, look at those sales that were in your VIP group that she saw. Look at the training that you offered our team. Look at these things that you did and you accomplished, and your kids are happy and you meal prep today. Like, look at all of those things. So you're still winning. And I was just like, okay, like, even though I didn't accomplish everything that I needed to do, and I feel like I'm a failure, which I'm not, but I'm just super dramatic sometimes. I still had a lot of good that came out of it. And so I think that's really important too, just to sometimes have that reminder.
Love that. Lainey, number 3 was consider your life as a plate. And that was kind of where, like, mom is a serving of mashed potatoes, she said, or something, right? Okay. So Jennifer, I'll go back up to see if I missed anything, but this isn't one that I'm not going to speak on. I'm just going to let Jessie take. Do you ever feel like it's hard to coach people who aren't balls to the walls like you? such a good question. And so
that when they're not balls to the walls like me.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's hard to coach those people when they're not?
So it once was, but I realized I have to love people where they're at, because not everybody has the same goals that I do when it comes to this business. Like, not everybody, you know, I don't necessarily want to be a stay-at-home mom, although I love ZYIA. I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom with ZYIA, just because, like, I realize I'm on maternity leave. That's not me, and that's not something that I want to do. And likewise, there's going to be people on my team that don't want to be working moms, that are also like gung-ho ZYIA 24/7 like I am. And so that is okay. And so I think it's important to sit down with people and figure out, what do you want? Like, what are you expecting to get here? And what can I do to help you get there? Because the reality is, I don't have the time to push or pull people. You know, you always hear that analogy, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force him to drink. And that is so true in this business. My job isn't to inspire or motivate or get people to do things. It's just for me to show up every day, and people are going to either come with me or they're not. And so I think that's really, really important, because again, I don't go home with the people on my team. I don't know what their purpose is. I don't know what they're fighting for unless they tell me these things. It does get challenging, however, when people say they want something, but then they do something else. Like, their actions don't match up with what they say they want in the business. And that in part is because I am like team winning. Like, I want everybody to win. I'm that person rooting for people. Like, if Amy hits double ZYIA executive, even though she's my recruit, you better believe I'm freaking popping bottles here for her. Like, I will be over the moon excited. And I just honestly want to cheer people on. And I want people to realize what it's like on this side. Like, I never, and I tell Leah this when I get my paychecks, like, I never imagined this opportunity being as amazing as what it is, and paying me like what it is. Like, it's literally mind blowing here. And so it's a struggle when I know people want a better life and could even use a better life, but they don't necessarily do the actions to get there. And that's just something I've unfortunately had to just like, whoosah, I can only do so much. There's so many resources out there, but I can't force them to do what they don't want to do.
100%. And I think it's okay to have that conversation. Like, cut yourself free from it. I've probably a year and a half into the business, I was really struggling with that, wanting it for people. And I remember the first phone call I had with somebody where I said, hey, listen, and I was so scared to say it, but I said, listen, you have recruited somebody. You have sold a pair of leggings, right? Yep. They're like, yep. So you know you can do it, right? Like, you have the skill set to do it. Yep. Yeah, for sure. They agree they have the skill set. So then I say, okay, great. You just have to decide now if you want to apply it. Like, I'm not trying to be rude. Like, this is a compliment to you. Like, you do have the skill set. Some people struggle and have to do a ton of trainings and do all this stuff, but you've got the skill set. You just have to decide if you want to apply it. And that's totally up to you. Like, I'm here to support you, but when you have that decision made, you let me know. And I remember being like, oh my gosh, like, did I just lose somebody who could like hit director for me? Did I just lose this? But it was so freeing. And I took that energy then that I was pouring in and not feeling like it was doing anything for my business. I took that energy and I went and just, I recruited new people and new excitement, and I put it somewhere where that energy felt good. And that was a game changer for me, because that is draining. And you're right. So love them and leave them where they're at. But that's great advice, Jessie. There was another one in here. So Jessie, what's your next big scary goal? You're crushing it, but what's next level for you?
My next level goal is double ZYIA executive, and it makes me want to puke, guys. It makes me want to puke.
She's
it's not something you can do by yourself.
So soon. She's gonna do it.
You can really do it. Do it. Where are you at with that?
So that's another part, and I'm going to be completely transparent here. After December, I felt like January was either on for people or it was off for people. And it was really weird how that happened. And so in January for me, although I'm ZYIA executive, I actually didn't have the 4 directors that I needed. Like, our group volume wise was the highest it's ever been overall, but I was lacking, I'm lacking in terms of the directors to hit. All right. So I didn't technically qualify for that ZYIA executive, again in January, which at first I was just like, am I doing something wrong here? But then I kind of like wrapped my head around it again and decided just to continue to recruit, and go after more people. Eventually we'll get there. But yeah, I still need working on the directors.
Which is a good one. That's a challenge.
It sure is. It is definitely a challenge.
I just wanted to get my Tums. Do you have a date on it?
Guys, I do, and it's like nauseating because you just heard what I said about the fact that I last month only had 3 directors. Right there, by the end of March, front of my planner. Wrote that a while ago. Makes me want to puke. So, there you go.
What did you say? If it's not big, if it's not scary enough, it's not big enough, right?
I know it. Gosh, getting real uncomfortable here.
Sweating on the hot seat. Sorry, I didn't even like make questions up. These are coming in, sister. I'm just giving you the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys.
No, my 2 big 90-day goals: earn Mexico, double ZYIA. That's what I want. And I know if I hit double ZYIA, then Mexico is like kind of in the bag just because of the extra points you get for rank advancing. So guys, use rank advancing to your advantage here.
Yeah, and one thing too that I love about what you're saying is that you very clearly can decipher between a vision and a goal. Like, I hear you saying, I see what I know what I want for my family, and I have big plans for my family. And so that's your vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your goals are what is going to make that vision become a reality. And I think that gets lost. People have this big vision and they hang on to that and they kind of show up here and there, but they don't plan the tactical goals every month, every quarter, every day, every power pocket to make that happen. So it's really a twofold process. And I think you've explained that beautifully, just like in everything you said tonight.
The other thing that I want to just say is when it comes to even like focusing in my VIP group. So I am just very strategic in what I share in there. So for instance, my group now knows, like, if they don't jump on a new release Wednesday, they might never get the opportunity to buy it again, because I've just not trained them, but I constantly am saying, like, get it or it's gone, get it or it's gone. Same with restock lists. I'm very strategic with my restock list. So I see what's coming up, what's going to be restocking, and I push that thing so hard. I go to the marketing group, I get all the ways to style this thing, and I push it so hard. And I think that has helped consistently hitting my personal volume every single month, for what it's been. It's honestly, majority is that is my VIP group, because they've just learned that's how it goes.
No doubt. And you get a big restock and you can have $320 in sales, right? And we all know $2,500 is $25 a week. That's a big chunk into $625.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I had 1,000 alone from cardigans, army green cardigans. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding.
The other day, my husband saw the slashed leggings on, which I can wear because they're luxe, and I'm, very big right now. I'm pregnant, and he's like, "People really like those," and I was like, "Do you know how much of these I sold? Do you want me to quick do the commissions on how much we should love these?" Like, well, they're actually not that bad. I was like, "Yeah, I know."
That was my husband about the camo joggers. I was like, do you know how many people I have on my restock list for an $89 pair of joggers right now? Like, what? Why?
You become the sexiest joggers you've ever put on, Amy.
I know. He's like, why? I don't even, I'm like, yeah, well, you love them now.
Right? It's so funny. And I think that those are good conversations, especially with the level that a lot of you guys are at, to make sure that your spouse does kind of understand that. Like, give them that perspective, like, I'm not just selling leggings. Like, let's talk about what this meant today. Okay, any other questions that you guys have? Does anybody want to unmute and ask a question? Or are we good? I know that was a ton of great information. What a strong start to the 2021 calls. Jessie just coming out hot.
Thanks.
I'm not going to watch The Office or The Bachelor tonight. I'm going to go do reach outs, and I probably would not have if I did not. Just get soaked in full of the Jessie knowledge. So, I know, Ellie. Maybe I'll do it after my reach outs. Maybe I'll watch The Bachelor. Okay, you guys. Jessie, thank you so much. Good luck to you hitting double in March. And if you guys have any questions, I'm sure Jessie wouldn't mind if you reached out on Facebook or something. Otherwise, reach out to me and we can connect.